Hi, we are here today with Theodore Shapiro, film composer. He's been kind enough to let us come into his studio today. How are you today?
I'm good, welcome.
Wanted to start by asking you, how are things going? What are you working on?
I'm working on a couple of great projects. I just finished a movie called Game Change for HBO about the 2008 presidential election. I'm working on an animated film called The Pirates, which is made by Aardman Studios, who's done all the Wallace and Gromit films and Chicken Run. They're this brilliant British animation company. And I'm just starting a movie called Great Hope Springs with Meryl Streep and Steve Carell and Tommy Lee Jones, directed by David Frankel, who made Devil Wears Prada and Marley and Me.
Fantastic. Yeah, very busy. That's
great.
great.
A good crop of films.
You know, and I was looking up on your IMDb, I noticed you've done some fantastic comedies over the years.
Yeah.
In fact, I was going to ask you, how do you go about approaching comedies from a musical standpoint?
Right. You know, in a movie like Dodgeball or Blades of Glory, the scores to those films treat those films like serious sports epics. The score to Tropic Thunder is pretty much a straight, action score. And, generally speaking, I find that in a good comedy, the humor comes out in the dissonance between the seriousness of the musical approach and what's happening on the screen. And this is obviously a strategy that Elmer Bernstein used to use to great effect, and it's definitely a tradition that I'm proud to carry on.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, what I love about Digital Performer is I find it to be just a completely transparent compositional tool. It lets me compose music quickly and easily, and this is a really small feature that I use all the time, and it's something that's not actually in every DAW, which is in the change velocity page. There's that smooth function in the change velocity page. So in other words, let's say you've played something, and then you've written a cue, and then what you find is you wish you had started the cue softer and built in more gradually. And in a few very short clicks, you can take the same cue and just direct the sequencer to start with softer velocities, maintaining the relationship between the velocities, and build from 70% up to 100%. Or the other way, you can do a diminuendo where it builds from 100% to 50%. I use this all the time, and I would have assumed that it would be, in any sequencing program. But I have tried other ones in which, that made me realize, oh my gosh, here's this thing about DP that is just so simple, intuitive, and quick, and it just doesn't exist here without, 6 moves where it's 1 in DP. And it's that kind of programming that I really appreciate. Well, let's see, I've been really impressed with the pitch correction. That is a relatively new feature. I had to use it once, sort of in an emergency. I had a piece of audio that I needed to use the audio, and then I had to make a harmonic change that made the audio not work, and I hadn't really gotten into the pitch correction before, and I found that it was literally as simple as dragging a note the same way I would a MIDI note, and it sounded great, and I was thoroughly impressed. The thing that I keep coming back to is I find that it thinks like a composer. I find that the way that the conductor track works, it's a very composerly feature. I just find that the way that the whole program is laid out is just generally in sync with the way that I approach music. I think that it works really well for film composing, doing things like changing meters, changing tempi. Just the way that it handles all that is really elegant and simple, and it just, this may sound like a funny compliment, but I find DP to be sort of invisible when I'm working in a great way. It lets me do my work quickly and efficiently.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much again.
Thank you. It's really a pleasure to have you.
And we really appreciate your loyalty, and congratulations on all your success.
Oh, thank you so much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.